Why is
Yeah.
it overrated? You know what I mean?
You're going to look at you and ask me, one way or another, to treat them one out of 100. Excellent. Some kind of combination Okay, welcome to the It's More Than Just Money podcast, where we dive into conversations with industry leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers who are doing amazing work in South Africa and abroad. And today I've got a gentleman that I'm going to be having a conversation with that I think is going to shine the light when it comes to how you do social media marketing for your business. But before I do that, please click on that subscribe button, click on that notifications bell, and perhaps get ready to comment and let us know which part of this conversation resonates with you. The gentleman in person that I'm with right now is Ayanda Mabaso. He calls himself Dogotela Marketing, which simply means he's the doctor of marketing. He's an entrepreneur. He's a social media strategist. He's also somebody who runs a social media company, and he's also focused on sales. Mr. Mabas,
Yeah, Mr.
thank you
Mdak.
for coming, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yeah.
borrowing us your time and
Noma
for coming to
ngitshontshile nje.
Sikjonji,
Yeah.
we stole you, man. But thank you
Yeah.
for making time,
No, I had to make
share
time, man. Yeah.
with our community. I do think that your story is quite something that's going to, open a lot of eyes,
Sure.
specifically when it comes to marketing.
Sure.
But I just want to now get into your background.
Sure.
When we were speaking earlier on, you spoke about having started a business that was making quite some money for you
Sure. Yeah.
when you were young.
Yeah.
What's your background? Have you always been a business person, an entrepreneur? What's going on?
Let me introduce myself. You've already introduced me. Kama Ayanda Mabaso mpulazi mzilazi ngamashobane. I-background yami, it's sales. I've always been a person who's interested in sales. And that also, it comes from my mother, actually. Like my whole family in G, we are rooted in selling. It doesn't, the problem is I think selling, every black family which exists in South Africa, they are involved in sales in some way. But the problem is scaling that business. Yabo. My grandmother was selling, my mother was selling, and then now me. I'm the person who's trying to scale the sales. I'm that person who's trying to scale my sales. SKLM, I did a business study. That business study then led me to better understand business as a whole. Oledi one day decided to just give me 500 rand to buy my fragrances. There's this company which I'm not gonna mention because they have to pay you first.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to pay you. So Oledi gave me like five clay party, hamboza mbonti ubuya nani. Yabo. From that 5 clay party, it opened my eyes to so many opportunities. I started selling ngokweletis. Thatha ama-perfume unikeze umuntu akhokhele at the end of the month. Ngakwenza lokho, I think for about 3 or 4 years, ngenza lowo msebenzi loyo, ngikweletisa and I collect my money. Ngikweletisa and then I collect my money. Ngase ngahlangana namanye ama-outs ala eSouth Beach who happened to be doing the exact same thing nabo besebancane. But I know not just kweletisa mfethu. But sashifta from ukweletisa and then we now started asking for cash. Because uthoti wenza the same amount of work but you're not receiving the same amount of money than someone who's doing the same amount of work as you, but bona they're making 10 times more. Yabo? I switched from selling ngeskweletu to selling on cash, which was a game changer for me. Yabo? First day we opened the store, the one that we spoke about earlier. First day that we opened the store, we made 4,000 rand. First day we opened the shop. A cover share, a Pick and Pay. I always tell a story on my social media about, because it's my story. I always believed I didn't have a story, but when I started telling that story, people started resonating with the story. Taibo, Fetu. That is so dope. Like you actually someone that we have to listen to. Yeah. Made 4,000 the first day.
What
Then-
was this? You set up a shop
Yeah.
and then you were selling perfumes.
Perfumes, yes.
You had already started the perfume business.
The perfume business has been going on for a very long time, but I was running a credit selling business. Yeah, bro.
So somebody comes,
Yeah.
they take perfumes, they pay at the end of the month.
At the end of the month, yes.
Right.
Yes. Now, and I kind of lap, I was making like decent amount of money for someone or in Duano Selokshi. If it's you pulling up Boma 15,000 rand a month, which is a lot of money. Because the stock Sakon is told on 5,000. So you made like 10,000 rand in profit. Yeah, bro. And then you calculate, obviously, you're going to get like a few who are not going to pay. Obviously, it's business. Yeah, bro. But you still get to make profit. Yeah, bro. But now the shop, i-shop fethu iyashifta mindset yami in such a huge impact. It had such a huge impact on my life because it gave me a better understanding. Because now I had to open the shop. I had to be consistently opening the shop. Yabo. I had to understand ukuthi i-market yala ithini, like what's going on here. Yabo. eCoversham, it's filled with abantu abahlala kuma-apartments.
Where was the Kawash?
eCoversham.
Caversham. It's an
It's
area.
it's
in
an
Durban.
area. It's near Pinetown, yeah. So it's a very nice residential area. And you get your people abane moto. They're driving nice cars. They have nice apartments. They have 600 rand to spend on a fragrance. Yabo.
Yeah.
Per day, you pulling at least 2 grand. But when you combine the whole sales revenue for the month, it's like 50,000 rand, which was a lot of money. Like it is a lot of money because you're able to do so much with that money. Yeah. From there, I actually lost the shop. After a couple of months, we lost the shop because we were doing some shady business.
Don't incriminate yourself.
No, I'm not incriminating
Were you selling
myself.
drugs or
No, we're not selling drugs. So
Yeah.
I always tell the same story on my socials. Ekuthenini, learn to do honest business. So I was not doing honest business. Kanja now, the landlord was asking for 250 rand per day. When I started,
for the car wash?
no, for a stand, for our stand.
Yeah.
So the landlord is asking for 250 a day, which is a lot of money. Mungaga apply. If you haven't applied yourself yet, it is a lot of money. Yeah, but since ngase rooted, which I know 250 is a lot of money, man. I think samukhokhela kabili kathathu, and then we got parallel katile. Khona umnyumchito ejwayele ukugada laphana nje. Hired by this guy. This guy lives like in Joburg, so he barely comes here. Sathi so niggas on 50 rand per day, and then clean. Continue operating with 50 rand a day. But now the landlord doesn't know that you're here. So anything that happens to you here, it becomes a problem because the landlord doesn't know that you're here. And something did happen. My stock got stolen. Who am I going to report to? Because I don't have a protection from the landlord. Landlord said, but chief, you're not supposed to be there and there. So what's going on? Lost everything. Like, no, chief, get out of here. I don't want you here. Yeah, because I was not paying him. Yeah,
But if you were making so much, why were you not willing to then invest
Because
in the business? And
I was already.
Is it a mindset?
It's a mindset
issue
thing.
or
Yeah, it's a mindset issue. Because I was already losing 9 man, 50 rand. Let me pay this guy, man. Yeah, bro. And we haven't been caught for a very long time. So why would I give 200 rand to extra 200 rand to this person? He barely even comes here anyways. But I was not thinking of protecting my business because we lost the business at the end of the day. So now I lost 50,000 rand because I couldn't pay 50 rand a day.
and you couldn't set up anywhere else?
I couldn't set up anywhere else. I tried setting up here in Durban, but another thing that we fail to understand is that you assume since there's a lot of people, you're going to get sales, which is not true.
Yeah. Maybe get into that. You assume that since there's a lot of people,
Sure.
there would be sales. But that's not necessarily the case.
It's not necessarily
So,
the case.
which speaks to what? Market segmentation,
Sure.
choosing your market,
Sure.
knowing exactly who the market
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
Can you get into that for those people that
Sure.
are starting out in their business? How do you identify a market? Who's your target market?
Marketing is a long-term game. Marketing takes years. Marketing is a whole structure in our marketing department, because that department has to do research. There's something called the market research, where you research and you understand exactly, does this product meet this person's does this product satisfy this person? It's a whole structure which you need to get into and understand. And I think Tina, as in Lemyama, we when you're thinking about business, you're thinking, Guti, I'm just gonna create a product and then people will buy. It's not true. It's not. You might get lucky. I mean, you're gonna get people who are lucky that you create a product. It sort of happens, Guti. You just created the product in the right time, and then your market you hit a jackpot on that one. So when I came here in Durban, set up the whole structure for Tinje, same thing. We have a table. We are selling a perfume. Another thing, we're actually selling way less compared to what we are selling the Kavashem. A Kavashem, there was Aiki perfume which was less than 500 rand. Lana, I'm selling perfume for like 170, and I was making one sale a day. Lapo, there's hundreds of people passing by, because its target audience is not the right one. But there, I was selling like 5 perfumes a day, and I'm making like 2,000 rand.
And you were selling for a higher amount.
And I was selling for a higher amount. Because now I've met the right target audience, which needs this product.
You know, a lot of people talk about, not a lot of people, I mean, people who understand this.
Sure.
There is a product that's designed for scale.
Sure.
Right? You want to sell it to as many people as you can.
Sure.
And there is a niche product
Yeah.
that is designed for magnitude.
Yeah.
Right? It sounds like you took a product that was working
Sure.
at magnitude. You could have sold 5, but you'll make a decent amount of money.
Sure, yeah.
And then you took it to a market that was looking for scale, but was not necessarily even interested in perfumes because they're not that niche that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Where do you think the mistake was with that?
First of all, it's the assumption that a lot of people means you're going to make money. That is number one. Or number two, just because a product maybe it's cheap, you're thinking, Guti, it's gonna sell a lot, which is not entirely true. You can have there's a calculation of Guti, if you want to make 1 million rand per month, or whatever period you want to make 1 million rand in, you can sell a 1 rand product to 1 million people. Or you can drop the number significantly and sell a product for 100 rand to 1,000 people or 10,000 people, I'm not sure. But you still make 1 million rand. So when I just reduce the number of people that you need to approach and then you raise the price, you still make the same amount of money. You still make 1 million rand. I'm now focusing on e-marketing. Or should I say, I'm part of the marketing department. I mean, I'm just doing social media. And every time when I meet a new client, I just recently started the social media thing actually this year. But the information that I have, it comes from 10 years of understanding sales. But now I want to reach as many people as possible with just one video or 2 videos. When I meet a client, I tell them that this is the amount of money that you're going to spend, and you have to give me time. You can't say you want to shift the needle with one video or 1 month of work. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. We have to be given time. First of all, to understand your product and how can your product fit in the social media thing.
So how did your 10 years in sales
Yeah.
shape your understanding of social media marketing?
You have to be the funny guy when you're selling. And being the funny guy on social media, I think it's much easier. It's also gives you people skills. When you are selling, you understand people, you get a better understanding of how to interact with people. I always tell people, if you want to build a character of a business person or an entrepreneur, you must go to sales. Because sales, they're going to dribble you. You're going to try and approach 10 people, and all of them, they're going to tell you no. They're going to shut that door, chief, on your face. All of them, they're going to tell you no. But that builds character for you as a person. Because now you know and understand how to take no to the heart. You're taking it here. You're taking it. No, you're taking the no here. I mean, I don't know how many times when I tried. And another thing is, I was actually giving people on credit. Imagine someone is declining a credit sale. So you heard twice that I'm not even asking for your money now. I'm just asking for your money at a later stage. Yeah. So someone is just gonna shut the door and you'll be like, hey, I'm right, chief. Yeah. So it really hurts you, but it builds you at the same time also. It builds you, like it gives you a different perspective of people. It also gives you an understanding, Guti, oh, so if I'm approach kanje, then I need to approach like this. If I'm approach kanje, then I need to approach like this. I came to an understanding that, oh, women buy more than amachit. Amachit are very conscious with imalia. But amacheri more to boom, you're making money. That's why market eningi ifocusa towards amateur. We're talking clothing, we're talking makeup, and any other thing, G. Focus on, if you want to make money, focus on women. You'll make a lot of money.
So, what are the key lessons that you can say you took from sales
Sure.
that transcended into
Social
marketing?
Media. Sure. Patience, that's number one. You have to be very patient when doing AMA sales. Number two, sales are going to build a character for you as a person. On social media right now, there's a lot of bullying which is going around because you fail in public. See, the thing about failing in public, you have to take it to the chin because you fail.
Yeah.
I once did a video for a client, which was, I'm very embarrassed about that video actually. So my whole thing is funny marketing. So I advertise to people in a funny manner, whereby I make you laugh and I take your money. That's how I like to call it. I make you laugh and then I take. Comedians, they do this all the time. They make you laugh, Baba, but hey, the money is gone. So we did a video for a client. The video was simulating the white powder. Mina, I thought it was funny. And the client also agreed. That's the other thing. We did the video, so I post. We got a backlash. We got a call from SARS, we got a call from the Department of Labor, we got a call from almost all departments.
What was the video doing?
It was playing around the white powder.
What? White powder?
Yeah.
Oh, cocaine?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was playing around that. So we were acting like sniff the thing and then you get high and then you sleep on a bed and then it because many people wonder how furniture shops stay in business, because you can't tell me what you're selling beds and furniture every day, so it must be what you doing something else, or you're hiding something under the couches and something else. But that video it didn't really land. Like we got a backlash and got some calls and everything. I actually thought I was gonna get fired, but yeah, luckily I didn't get fired. But that's one of the lessons that I got. It's a try and error thing. You try something, you test it out, and you see, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? And then you move on. And you have to learn to move on. After you post something, your work is done. Whatever comes from that, hey, that's why I mostly don't read my comments on my videos. If I know the video, this video is really not the one. So I don't read my comments because I know I'm a person. You're gonna read like 10 comments and all those comments are negative.
Yeah.
It's gonna do something to your brain.
So, in your experience, what's the the connection between selling
Mm.
and effective social media marketing.
Effective social media marketing and selling.
Mhm.
The connection, I think it's in understanding the type of person that you are trying to reach. Noma ngibeka nje. Boring businesses are hard to market. Some businesses are it's very difficult to go to you can talk about a bed on a daily basis. So you can't talk about a bed on a daily basis. So you need to find ways whereby you are going to sort of like structure your content, but also try and pitch our sales in between. Yeah, bo? So that's why we are able to do funny videos, and then we mix our sales in between. That's essentially what we do. You do that funny video because on social media people are there to distress. So you can't be all the time you're talking about a bed. You need to try and connect with the viewer and pitch your sales. Yeah, bo? On social media, people are there to watch TikTok videos, and they love scrolling, and they just there for the dopamine effect. So once you start selling to them, you are losing them.
Mhm.
So you have to know what the viewer wants and connect with your sales. When it's okay, I mean, I want to sell this, but how do I sell this to someone who's just there for dopamine? Give them the dopamine, and then you pitch your sales.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I like that because social media gurus talk about the 3 E's,
Sure,
which is to educate people online,
sure.
to entertain them,
Entertain, yeah.
or to encourage them.
Yes,
So it seems like you take the entertainment aspect of that
sure.
and then push that to sales.
Yeah,
But when it comes to traditional sales techniques, such as relationship building
sure.
or objection handling,
Yeah.
how do those apply then in the online social media space? Where Angiti, on the base level, you can
Sure.
build a relationship
Yeah,
and make sales,
sure.
right? But when you're online and you're doing social media, it's kind of a different story because you're building the relationship with someone you've never met, never seen. You're just seeing them comment. Sometimes you don't even read the
So
comments,
exactly,
like
yeah.
you're saying. So how do you connect with those people?
Community building. That's what it's called. Community building. As you said, conversations lead to conversion. So if you keep on having a conversation with some, as we are having a conversation now, I might buy your book. Yeah, bo? Because we are having a conversation, I get a better understanding of who is Witness Mtaga, because now he's here. Eventually I'm gonna be like, hey, let me buy the book. Hey, what else do you have? Let me buy your course. Hey, what else do you have? Let me invest in whatever project that you have coming up. Because now I see that trust is here. The easiest way for someone to trust you, the easiest way for someone to trust you is, first of all, be as authentic as possible. Number two is be as knowledgeable as possible. Number three is to validate them. If you try and validate your viewers as much as possible, or give them that dopamine rush as much as possible, you are connecting with that person. You don't even know them, but you are connecting with them.
But that conversion from just somebody who you're connecting with
Sure.
to now somebody that's paying you, how do you do that? How do you create that safe space for him to be able to convert to a client?
Trust and knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
If you are knowledgeable I once received a client from Pumalang when I was selling fragrances. I didn't tell the story actually. Shifting from selling physically to now selling online, because I started selling for myself online before I sold for other people. I started selling fragrances online on TikTok. I got a client for 10,000 and I've never met the client. I don't know the client. The client just saw my videos on TikTok. They went straight to my WhatsApp. How do we make payments? Clean. They sent 10,000. Like, my guy, how do you send 10,000 to someone that you believe in? No. Bona, they know me. They've been watching my videos for like 3 months or 4 months. And from me telling them, ukuthi, no, when you want to, when you're going on a date, you shouldn't wear a fragrance which is oud. You shouldn't wear a fragrance which is too strong because you're going to offend the next person. When you're going on a date, you should wear something floral. You should wear something sweet. You should wear something that umama will love, because abantu besimame, they usually love something sweet, something floral. Yabo. Yabo. So now, by giving that information, people, they get to trust you. When you give out information to people, people will be like, oh, this is actually true. Yes, this is actually real. This a fact. Yabo. And that's how people get to trust you, when you share information, and information which is like real information, which is tangible, something that they can use. And then from shifting from selling on for myself, selling fragrances, I now went to talk about my business journey, my journey of selling, from selling on the street to now selling on TikTok to now working with two major clients. Yabo. I now talk about my business experience. Good to know if you are selling on the street, please, you must write down. It's very important, because if you are not writing down AMA sales, you don't get an understanding what exactly is going on here. Yabo? From selling on the street, you get a better understanding. Yabo? When you start, you have to write down AMA sales. You are running a business at the end of the day. You are not running a chicken shop. You're not running Chisnje. You're running a business, yabo. And for you to get a better understanding of business, you need to apply AMA business elements, even if you are selling on the street. You have to apply AMA business elements. I think you spoke about this now on your podcast. Even if you are running AMA back rooms, you have to apply AMA business elements. Ukuthi, okay, AMA back rooms ngiyavuma, but how do I find a way to introduce AMA rules? Ukuthi AMA rules are like athi kanje. How do I introduce indaba zama payments? Abantu abarana ama back rooms bahlupheka njalo ngama payments, because it's not in writing. If it's not in writing, it becomes a problem. Did you know that if someone stays at your place without you evicting eviction notice for an X number of years, they can now legally own that property? Especially elokishini, there's no lease, there's no nothing. Umuntu akancane ukuhlala 10 years ekotishini. But lowo muntu ohlala ekotishini mangase aye ka Department of Housing, ayilwe lento le, angakwazi ukuthi legally own leyo property, because mayingekho trace of ama payments. I just came here first, lo mjida offered me indawo yokuhlala, and then ngahlala. Legally you can now own that property. Because our introduce some elements of a business. You need to understand what you are running a business. Same thing, it goes back to the conversation that we're having earlier. Running an honest business. If I was paying the guy the money that he was asking for, I would have still have had my shop. Yabo? You have to introduce some element of running a business. You are running a business. Yabo? If someone has to do work for you, how much do they charge? They are charging an X amount of money. Pay them. And move on with life. Yeah, bro.
So your tagline, perception is everything, resonates well in both sales and in marketing.
Sure.
How do you think perception plays a role in closing deals, both online and offline?
I actually have a story. You see this thing here? I bought it specifically.
That MacBook?
Yes.
Okay.
This is an investment for my business. It was about 15,000. I spent that 15,000. And I mostly work with this one. I use this one to shoot my videos and edit. But I'm a client, if you go to a client with this in a meeting, hey, witness, hey, what we're doing here, and then you start taking out your phone to do business. This champ is playing us. So I bought this one. So now when I'm in meetings, I open a laptop. It becomes a different conversation. Value can sometimes be created by you associating yourself with things which are valuable. Even if you I don't believe actually Uti, there are some people who are dumb, but even if you are the dumbest person on earth, take yourself and put yourself in a room filled with valuable people. People will now perceive you as a valuable person. So if you are closing deals physically, the appearance is everything, perception is everything, because people are visual creatures. Even you yourself, you are a visual person. Even I am a visual person. We scan izinto. You scan into first. That's why there's a saying, Eti, first impressions. People judge you on your first impressions. First impressions are everything. People are gonna judge you on your first impression. So it's very important to when you are going to sell to someone, presentation is everything. Present yourself how you want to be perceived. Present yourself how you want to be paid also.
So, sorry about that.
Sorry, yeah.
So, can you share an example of how the way a brand or an individual then present themselves can change, or shift their sales results? You talked about presenting yourself in a certain way right
Sure.
now. Let's say I was presenting myself one way, or the brand was presenting itself one way,
yeah.
and then now that changes. How does that dramatically shift the results when it comes to sales?
When it comes to sales. I'm gonna give Ama examples. So I had a client once. I'm not gonna mention which client. So when I do social media accounts for companies, some companies they want to meet physically. Some companies they're just gonna finish the deal online. The first deal that I did, we closed it offline, so I had to meet them physically. And I came in dressed not in a very nice man. I was wearing sneakers and just cargo pants. I looked like your typical high school kid, just like any typical high school kid. We went there, we negotiated, and I said, before I start the work, I need 30% of the deal itself. They're like, clean, we're gonna do 30%. At a later stage, when I'm having a conversation with the client, I'm like, why did you do 30%? Why did you pay that money? Because wayesanda kuskenywa omunye wama-uniform kanjalo kanjalo am-scam I think like 70,000. So I'm like, why did you do 30%? Uthi hayi mina ngiyibonela intwana mfethu edinga imali elambile ngathi hawu. Because it's the presentation that I gave. You see? So he was not paying me based on the value that I'm gonna bring to the business. He was just paying another person obuke ngathi homeless. Scene 2, I have a client who wants to work with me. This client, I was able to close the deal online. The client has never met me. The client has only seen my work. But since I presented my structures are online, which are professional, first of all, email is very important. You buy domain, you can't be using which email. You can't be using or like these cheap online or Yahoo or what. Because those are associated with scammers. Iklanti lang email alithi, we want to work with you. This is what we want. We want this number of videos. What's the price? The price is 15,000. Clean. I want 50% of the money before I start the work. Clean. Send us your banking details. Give us an invoice. And they send the money. So how does someone just trust someone nje kanjalo? It's because konama structures esengwabekile. The email is very professional. My whole structure is very professional. Like my TikTok, indlela engiyibeke ngayo, it's very professional. The client that I've worked with is a very trusted client. Yabo? So perception is everything.
So, from a sales perspective,
Sure.
right? How do you then build sales funnels through social media? I mean, especially for those that are already interacting with the brand, interacting with the business. How do you build funnels that can help with conversion?
With conversions. I still struggle with those actually myself. I still struggle with those because I'm a salesman. I ngangiwavala on WhatsApp. I closed my sales, my perfume. A lot of them I closed them on WhatsApp, and I was making a significant amount of money, which is something engifuna ukuyi-shift and I'm like you build a website that gonna obviously try and convert abantu to actually buying customers.
Mm.
I'm in a very lucky position to work with a company which has those structures in place. Yabo. Mina, my job is to bring the traffic. Bona, they have all the sales funnel. They have everything. They have multiple stores across the province, and it's a very big brand. Yabo. So I'm a sales funnel for them. It's already there. Yabo. But for someone who's an individual, it's very difficult. It's very difficult, and unless obviously you want to create like a website, or create a website, and that can be your sales funnel, and then you can use the social media as a marketing tool to
Nice.
drive those sales.
So then, what are the key elements that businesses need to include in their marketing strategy, especially social media marketing strategy, in order for them to drive those sales?
Yeah.
Obviously, to then create those funnels and drive the direction there.
They must include an element of fun. Social media is all about fun. People want to have fun on social media. People want to have fun. They don't want the stress of you telling them about things that don't make sense to them. That is why it is so difficult to, if you are an information person, you are selling information. It's very difficult for you to sell information just like that. But if there's a Kabza show, Chief, you cannot outsell Kabza. If you're doing the show at the same day as Kabza, people are going to go and see Kabza. They will find money to go and see Kabza, but you are selling information. It's going to be very difficult for you to sell. Yabo. So now, how can I sell as Kabza? How can I try and add an element of fun in my way of selling? Yabo. That's what you need to do. Another thing that I wanted to get into is scammers. So, what do scammers do? Scammers, they, first of all, I think scammers are the smartest people abakhona emhlabeni. And there's a lot of things that you can learn. As a real business owner, you can learn so much from people who do scam. I was once scammed here in Durban. So lo mchitu uyafika kumina, wearing very nice. Mchitu ugqoke kahle, which is number one. It comes back to perception. Since umshito ugqoke kahle, obvious I'm perceiving lo mshito as someone who's trustworthy, because if you're well dressed, you are perceived as someone who's trustworthy. Mshito comes in well spoken. Number two, you have to be well spoken. All scammers, chief, are well spoken. Hey, those guys are well spoken. They read books, they analyze things. Yabo, well spoken. Chita comes in, angishaye story fethu. Athi ku-1 no-2 fethu manje I need ukuthi wena ungiyele laphana uyongilandela ngazi inyama. I have a shop. You just gonna uyentombini yami, le ntombi yami izofika inikeze lezi zinto. Ngathi sengiyahamba wathi hayi phela fethu ngizokuthemba kanjani.
Naye nawe yakho intombi
Yeah.
phone.
No, oledi. Yeah, oledi.
Yeah.
So umchita uthi hayi no uzohamba laphana fethu ungithathele lezi zinto lezi. Sengithi ngiyahamba uthi hayi phela ngizokuthemba kanjani fethu. Awungibambise something phela khona ngizokuthemba. Lapho ngiseyintwana at the time. Ithi hayi fethu bamba nawo u100 la fethu yabo mase kuzoba grand. Hawu ngihambe ngiye lapha akukho ntombi laphana, there's nothing. I've been scammed. Now, when I look at this guy, scammers are very smart. If we can, not saying adults, but study those people, hey, chief, we can make a lot of money. If you can study those people are very smart. Very smart. If you can adopt it all, a scammer is gonna associate themselves with luxury. They're gonna wear these nice clothes. They're gonna drive these nice cars. They're gonna do this and that just to try and scam you. So now, as a business owner, do exactly that so that you can do real business. For you, it's actually working for you because you do real business. So you're not scamming them. So where now you're gonna wear these nice clothes, you're gonna drive these nice cars, and actually deliver on the promise, which is a bonus because now they're gonna put you on a pedestal. Yeah, bo?
I mean, I'm sure you faced some challenges
Sure.
with all the work that you've done.
Sure.
and what the work that you're currently doing.
Yeah.
You know, what are the challenges that you faced, and how have you overcome them?
One of the challenges that I do face is I'm a client which love to negotiate my price, which is something it's not fun because I know the work, I've been doing the work, I understand the work, and I know how much the work is worth. So for you to come and negotiate the price, it's not it doesn't sit well with me because it's sort of like you undervaluing my work because I know Guti, how much this thing cost and how much impact can it have on your business. Yeah. When as the business owner, I shouldn't be risking me. But I mean, I'm a service provider. Why am I risking my service? Why am I risking equipment? Yeah, to come and help you as a business owner when you yourself you don't want to risk. So you have to risk now. Risk is everything in business. Business is all about risk. You have to risk. So if you are not risking, then I'm risking. It becomes a problem. Another thing is if you try and introduce another element of your risk, it's okay. No, it's fine. When how much is your budget? It's no, my budget club is 50% less to what I was asking. It's no, it's fine. Asenze kanje. Give me a percentage of my sale.
Yeah.
It becomes a problem again. Which I know, we can't give you a percentage of AMA sale, but you can't do. So what do you want to do? Do you want to give me a percentage of AMA sale, or you want to pay me what I'm worth? So, Pelo, you need to choose between the two, and there's no in between. You need to choose between the two. So I find I'm a difficult client all the time, but also I sometimes say you invite those clients yourself, or if you don't invite them, you accept them. How do you accept them? Back to the story of selling on credit. If you are selling on credit, you do realize that you are already inviting people who don't have money. The fact that you are buying on credit, it means you don't have money to pay. And not just money, the mindset of paying, you don't have that mindset. So when I was using it, and then you pay at the end of the month. So you're already inviting those clients and you're accepting those clients. If you're not inviting them, you're accepting those clients. And it creates it also creates a negative impact on your business when you always accept umsebenzi which doesn't value you. I have to get paid for a value. I have to get paid for a value, and you need to sell a value. Don't sell pity to people. Moyo ufuna umsebenzi uzothi hey Faith, no ish yaziphethe ekhaya kulanjiwe this and that. That if that person hires you, know that that person will only view you as someone who's pitiful, as someone who just likes to sell a pity story. Everybody has a pity story. Everybody has a sad story. I'm sure you have a sad story. Everybody in this room has a sad story. So don't sell a sad story. Sell your value as much as possible. Your sad story, you can tell the sad story to your friends. Do not go to clients and sell sad stories. I don't like to borrow money from my clients. Regardless ukuthi mhlawumbe kubheda kanjani, I don't like to borrow money from my clients. The client is going to pay me whatever we agreed upon. Even if it gets to a point whereby I'm now thinking, hey, ish, leli client ngili-charge kancane. Yabo. I'm not going to just switch out of the blue. No. Since it's senivumelene, it's fine. When I continue providing as much work as possible and much value as possible to the client, because senivumelene. Sell your value as much as possible. Do not sell sad stories. Everybody has a sad story. Ingakho engekho valuable. A sad story is not valuable because everybody has them.
So then, how does one who gets into that space where they want to market online, get clients,
Yeah.
build proper networks? You know how they say your network is your net
yeah,
worth.
sure.
You know, how do you build proper networks, especially with people that are eventually going to pay for the work that you are doing?
It's providing as much value to the first client as much as possible. The first client that I had for my social media marketing company was the bed company. That was my first big client. I've had small clients, people who will ask for like one video. The big client that I had was the bed shop. I have provided so much value for that client. that client has started looking for clients for me. You see?
Yeah.
So since you continuously provide value for the client, you go the extra mile to provide as much value. And that deal was not my best deal, because obviously it was my first major deal. It was my first major deal. It wasn't my best, but it's fine. But now I have the profile, which is way valuable than anything else. I have worked with such a gigantic company. I will use that till I die. I've worked with that company. That is my work. I've provided value for the client. In 8 months, we did close to 50 million views on TikTok. And you can't tell me what if 50 people have viewed your social media. You can't Tinaga marketing is 1%. You only want 1% of that 50 million. And the 1% got 50 million. I can't even imagine how many people are those. In fact, it can't even be 1%, because 1% is a ridiculous number. 1% got 50 million. It's a very small percentage. Those are the people that you want. Those are the people that actually buy from your brand. So creating value for the first client as much as possible. That first client is going to lead you to more clients. That client is going to lead you to more clients. One thing that client has taught me is honest business. Honest business is very important. You can't cut corners. Honest business is very important. And you don't sell dreams. I hate selling dreams. I'm not going to speak about specific people, but I hate selling dreams. I hate selling dreams. Business is a very slow process. It takes years. I like to make an example with a baby. For a baby to fully grow and have the understanding of what is surrounding surrounding yakho, it takes a minimum of like 10 to 15 years. That is how much it takes for a business to grow. And a business to just grow by itself outside of you.
Yeah. For it to
takes
mature.
Yeah, for it to fully mature and function outside of you, for it to function without you being there, it takes a long time. It's not something which takes a couple of years. I promise you, this social media thing that I'm doing, or my company that I have, it can fall the very next year, because social media is very fast. It changes drastically. There's AI now, and AI is threatening so many businesses. AI is threatening so many businesses. I mean, that now I'm threatened by AI, because companies don't need copywriters anymore. They literally use AI. And copywriters, like maybe last year or even last of yesterday, they used to be so valuable, because those are the people who use the right word in order to attract the customer, using written words. Yeah, but those are the people who know and understand. And then AI came in. Now you can just prompt and say something. Write me this, and then you post on social media. Clear. I'm a copywriters. There are no more copywriters anymore. With social media and video making, it's the same. It's gonna be the same in a couple of years. It's gonna be the same. It shifts so fast. That's why I think it's very important to build a tangible business, something that you can touch and feel. When I'm with property, you are in a very safe space.
Yeah.
Very safe space.
But even online, man, no one can replace me. No one
Even
can,
online.
no one can sit here and give this line of questioning and
Sure.
conversation.
Yeah.
But I agree with what you're saying.
Sure.
That I don't think AI will replace people. I think
Sure.
people who use AI
Yeah.
will be the ones that
Yeah.
replace people
Yeah.
because they have an added advantage.
Sure.
You know, so if let's say my line of questioning now,
Sure.
I mean, it took me 2 seconds to get all these questions
Sure, yeah.
and understand, because
Yeah.
we also use some sort of AI
Sure, yeah.
to actually understand the person that we're dealing with.
Sure.
So you're right when it comes to that. But at the same time, you need to be able to prompt the right questions
Sure,
with
yes,
AI.
yes.
So I don't think a person who's not smart enough to prompt will be able to use it. That's another thing.
But I think very soon, man. There are already AI tools which can build websites in literally seconds. There are AI tools, your editor, they are very soon you're not gonna need any editor.
I think he already knows that.
Yeah, well, so there are already AI tools which can edit a whole podcast in like a very short span amount of time. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So it's
I
either
saw one that takes like 5 minutes.
it takes like chops everything, and then when I just need to line up everything, I mean, it's true. AI is not gonna fully replace people, but it's gonna cut down a lot of people. Chape used to use 2 editors. Now you're gonna use one. That chopping and chopping, it takes some time, but now you can use AI to chop, and then the last editor is just gonna properly align and just see with everything aligns properly, and then captions, and even captions now you use AI again. People used to get paid to caption. People used to get paid. So to you get paid like, I don't know, 400 rand isn't those are online, where you captioning isn't those are per share, and then you write whatever is being said. Now they just put it in AI, so that loam seven super yabo. So AI is replacing a lot of jobs. So it goes back to growth and continuously shifting mindsets. Yeah.
So then, how do people then position themselves to be high value people? You know, in as much as we say AI will replace people, there are people that are going to be irreplaceable.
Sure.
I mean, AI is not going to replace Elon Musk,
Sure.
as an example.
Sure.
You know, so how do you position yourself?
Hey, but you never know. You saw this thing, got the baby launch about robots and what. They just planted the first neural chip on someone.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Right. You know why I say that? There are things that are things like emotional intelligence.
Sure.
They're not easy to program.
Sure.
The human element of it.
Sure.
But who knows? Like you're saying, you'll never really know.
Yeah.
But I mean, would you rather have an Elon that's a robot or an Elon that's a human being? That's
I
another
mean,
thing.
yeah, that's another. Obviously, you want an original Elon. So obviously, yeah.
I mean, and what I'm saying is, with what's happening online, how do then people position themselves as high value people that are continuing to make money? You said something about building a community.
Sure.
So if everything is robotic, there's no community.
There's no community. Yeah.
There's no human
Yeah,
element.
there's
Like
no
if
human
you're using AI, Facebook AI, he's
Sure.
using AI, I'm using AI.
So everything
It's
is
just a combination
Yeah,
of
it's just a
it's no
community of
longer
AI,
it's no
yeah.
longer what it used to be. It's no longer a
Sure,
community because
sure, yeah.
I mean it's AI talking to AI.
Sure.
I'm not there, you're not there.
Yeah.
So how do you position yourself to be the person that attracts people now?
Building yourself and building a valuable person. Now, it's sort of like a business. It takes time, Nakon. It takes understanding yourself so that you know Uguti, what is wrong and what do I need to fix. It also takes a self-realization whereby you understand the position that you're in, and you understand Uguti, there are so many things wrong. There are so many things which are wrong, which I need to fix. Yeah. I think reading, it's a cliche statement, but reading is very important. I've recently became this person who's focusing on reading because I came to understand, man, which I know, man. Yazi, there's so much knowledge in books. Like, there's so many things that you can learn from consuming as much knowledge as possible. And the Umhlaba has been around for how long? For billions and billions of years. Whatever problem that you have now, trust me, there's a book that can solve that problem for you. So building yourself, that's building value. Yeah, that's building value. And also building relationships also. That is part of building value. If you build the relationships with the right people, it takes literally one relationship for you to become a millionaire. One good relationship, then you become a millionaire. One good relationship, clean, you become a millionaire. I mean, the thing that I'm doing now, which is social media, I used to do it for myself, whereby I'm just directly selling for myself. I'm selling for myself. And then a friend came. They came as a sponsor. So I sponsored them. They're doing tech. I was selling watches. I'm like, my guy, here's a watch. Please promote for me. And then we started communicating. So this guy makes a lot of money. He works with international companies. Yeah, but he has like 400,000 followers on TikTok. He has like 30,000 followers on Instagram. I'm like, my guy, how do you make money with social media? He's like, no, Fitz, I talk about my product, I talk about this mic, and then this company is gonna be like, here's money, and just talk about our product. I'm like, how can I do something similar? How can I do exactly what you're doing? I'm not a tech guy. I'm not interested in tech. I mean, I love tech products, but I'm not interested to the extent whereby I will talk about my frame rate. I'll talk about these tiny itty bitty information about. So, I mean, I went in as a person who will do fashion. I wasn't interested in doing fashion. I know I was interested in selling. I know I was interested in business. But how do I then turn that into money? How do I turn it into money? So I went in as a person who will do fashion. I'm going to target fashion. I'm going to target fashion brands. I did fashion for like, I think for like 2 months. I didn't get any brands. My page just grew like massively. I think in 1 month, I was able to get like 10,000 followers. But I'm like, man, I'm not interested in this. First of all, it takes so much time and it doesn't pay as much.
Guys, if that did not inspire you, I don't know what's going to inspire you. Remember to comment, let us know which part of this conversation resonates with you. Please click on that subscribe button, click on that notifications bell. From me and my team broadcasting from Durban, Umhlanga Rocks, it's more than just money. See you in the next episode.